Blood Money episode 48 with Kent Lewis. The system will collapse. Your choice is slavery versus freedom. All right, we're on the next episode of Blood Money. Today I have a very special guest, Mr. Kent Lewis. How are you doing, sir?
Good, Vem. Nice to meet you, buddy. Been watching a
Yeah.
few of your videos, and good job.
Dude, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we really love what you're doing. So let's dive right into it. Tell us, what you've been up to, what you work on, what your latest projects are right now.
Vem, I'm a researcher, and I'm a fan of knowledge. I like to know what I'm talking about. I like to go out and find what they call conspiracy theory and dig down and research and find the illusion of what we're told versus researched hardcore truth. And
Yep.
most people can't handle the full red pill truth. So
Talking about the red pill truth, one of the main things you've been working on recently is this new financial system that they're trying to bring upon us. So why don't we get right into that topic? Tell me, what are the global powers trying to do? What is this new financial system that they're trying to bring to fruition all about?
Vim, and I wrote a report on this, which is my sixth report on the central bank digital currency topic.
Mm-hmm.
And so all financial institutions worldwide integrated with a new worldwide standard. The International Standardization Organization created a new standard called ISO 20022, in which every financial institution worldwide had to be integrated with by November 1st of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And what this new standard allows every financial institution, you name it, to do is to go live with CBDCs. And so it's basically a brand new financial system with a new set of standards that, it's complete slavery. And they'll do this in a stepped process like they do everything else, very slow, very methodical, and it to the point where it is a total slave system.
Slave system. Let's get into that. A slave system meaning that now on a global level, everybody's transactions are fully transparent to whoever these global powers happen to be.
Not that they already are. What this allows them to do is, within every different facet of the financial institution areas, which includes payments, securities, trade services, cards, foreign currency exchanges, or FX. Okay. And so what this allows them to do is provide a currency without paper money that is programmable. And, all the corporate banks in the US just announced their new digital wallet. And the very first step of the sequence is they're going to use Zelle as a digital wallet using the dollar. And in May and June, they'll go live with what's called Fed Now.
Mm-hmm.
And Fed Now is integrated with ISO 20022. So when I say ISO, what I'm referring to is the new standard called ISO 20022, just to make it more simplistic. And what this allows them to do is, it's when I say slavery, it's programmable. So what do I mean by that? Well, government and financial institutions will have the ability to just shut off your currency.
Wow.
If they don't like what you're saying, if they don't like what you're eating, if they don't like, so they're right now they're implementing 15-minute cities. If you get out of your boundary, well, your debit card won't work anymore. So you'll have geographic spending limits.
And this is happening right now. This isn't like their future plan. 15-minute cities, I mean, they're already starting to build those.
Absolutely. They're implementing it now. And they're, like I said, they do everything in a very slow, methodical step sequence, and then they'll start tightening it, and
Mm-hmm.
then, at some point, you'll have restrictions on the limits of what you can purchase, limits on savings, expiration dates on the currency. They'll limit the amount of currency that you can hold.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then they'll bring in the UN Agenda 21, different aspects of it, and they'll try to mitigate climate change and pollution and promote financial inclusion and equity. Their
Mm-hmm.
new keywords, which is basically UN Agenda 21, UN Agenda 2030, in which
Wow.
their new stepchild, World Economic Forum, is calling the Great Reset. But the Great Reset is just not about financial. It's the Great Reset of humanity, which I talk about in part 2 of the report.
And by the way, both these reports are going to be down below. You're going to be able to download them. You're going to see the incredible mind of Mr. Kent Lewis, how he's put all this together. And you haven't like just tied the pieces together. I mean, you talk about COVID, you talk about all the different agendas, how they're, taking us incrementally into essentially the slavery system. But you've also come up with solutions. And I mean, we don't have to go deep in that, but I mean, you really thought this stuff through.
This is my 6th and 7th report on the particular topic. Part 1 of the prior report, which I'm sure you'll make available for download via PDF within the video. I do provide an entire solution section, but I've got a brand new document, a report in which I'm releasing next week, and it's
Mm-hmm.
predominantly on solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And that particular report is called Freedom Roadmap 2023 and
Mm-hmm.
Solutions to Live Free.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then I'm simultaneously working on another report to go over 5th generation warfare, because they have really stepped up the attacks on the West. If you go through part 1 of the report, I go through environmental, social, and credit scores, so that's what people need to realize is they want to make the model, the communist technocratic model of China, the model of the entire world, where we'll
Mm-hmm.
have a social credit score, you know, and, in China, it's done very similar to how our FICO credit score is done, where in
Mm-hmm.
China, they've got like a score from like 800 down to 400. And
Mm-hmm.
depending on the score, at 800, you're a good communist. And you go down to your 400 and you're a dissident. And the first thing they do is slow down your internet. Your kids can't go to good schools. And then it goes all the way down to whereas they just shut off your CBDC wallet,
Mm-hmm.
because China is live with their yuan CBDC.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
when you hear people like Klaus Schwab saying things like "you will own nothing and you will be happy," and that's their 2030 plan, you see all these systems that they're putting in place. Then you see the COVID, quote unquote, pandemic, and how that had a psychological effect on people to get them closer to the slavery system. They were able to do stuff with COVID that they weren't able to do before, and mentally they kind of, I mean, whether it's gay people PTSD, psychologically screwed them, whatever it is, people seem to be more ready to give up their freedoms because of COVID. And I don't know. I see a big master plan here. It's pretty obvious.
to you and I, it's obvious. To the people that have been brainwashed, mass psychosis.
Uh-huh.
It's and it goes far beyond mass psychosis, to whereas I get into part 2 of my report, the people that took the jab, depending on how many they took, depending on the ingredients of what they took, um, the, I'm hesitating because, I haven't kind of given an introduction to part 2 of my report, but I'll just go ahead and say what I was going to say. They
Sure.
are now connected to what's called the intra-body nano network. And they do something, they have the ability to do something called neuromodulation. And this is a send receive. And, but I was hoping to get into that later in the talk and just kind of walk through CBDCs and this new financial system for now. And we can get into that in a few minutes. I did want to kind of bring up that, Vem, they are intentionally destroying the entire world financial system intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty obvious by now. But why? Why would they do this? Because they've got this new digital blockchain central bank digital currency financial system in place. And to my research, at least, that's what Ukraine's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine, and I detail this in part one of my report, in that, well, Ukraine is about getting the West to self-impose sanctions upon itself, destroy itself, destroy the supply chains. Okay.
I mean, hasn't anybody, like, out of all these people that are supposed to be educated? I mean, we saw what happened with the Soviet Union and Afghanistan. These are like Bin Laden wanted to bankrupt us. You know what I mean? This is so obvious. Again, maybe to you and I, but unfortunately not the sheeple out there.
Bin Laden was a CIA puppet. That was all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was all pre. 9/11 was about getting us to this point now, where we're at.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
It
Totally.
was another
Patriot Act.
stepping stone. Yeah.
Yep.
But when I say intentional, they, and again, part one of my report, I prove all of this because, you know, since and I go through, I provide links to everything. And I go through the amount of quantitative easing in which they have done. Quantitative easing meaning digital printing of currency. Notice
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever use the word money.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I go through the amount of digital currency that they have printed since 2008 up to current day. And then I get into, when Biden was selected
Mm-hmm.
within the selection,
Yeah.
um, I get into that over 80% of all the currency in existence today has been printed in the last just over 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
2 months,
Yep.
over 80%.
Yep.
Okay.
I
I
mean,
get into,
that's like Germany 1921 for anybody that's read history. Unfortunately,
Weimar,
nobody seems to have, but yeah.
you know, and something that most people are not aware of, which I never was until I researched this particular report, in
Yep.
which everybody's going to listen. They have a rule called SEC Rule 10B-5.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. And I got this from Catherine Austin Fitz and Solara Report to give them credit.
Mhm.
And basically, what this means is due to national security implications, a federal agency, if they deem something to be of national security, and let's
Mhm.
say they print or they spend 500 billion, whatever the number, well, they don't have to report it,
Mhm.
you know. And then on top, so they advertise this 31 trillion we're in debt. No.
Mhm.
When you take into consider unfunded liabilities such as Social Security, Medicare, pension, then you throw in derivatives.
Yeah. Could I take a
Um,
guess, by the way? Could I take a guess, please?
sure, yeah, go for it.
So you're about to say that it's much worse than 31 trillion. I'm pretty sure that's where you're going with this. I mean, are we at
Yes,
100 trillion? Dude,
no,
200
just
trillion?
just leave derivatives out of it. Okay,
Uh-huh.
if you just talk about unfunded liability for Social Security, Medicare, pensions, it's over 200 trillion.
Damn.
When you throw in derivatives, it's
Mhm.
far in excess of a quadrillion.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And then you could also throw in the 21 trillion that Skidmore and Austin Fitz found. And then on
Mhm.
top of that, there was a Italian guy. His name was, I forget it. I got his name here someplace, but he found another 94.7 trillion missing
Wow.
from DOD and HUD. Okay. So that's approximately 114 trillion that's just not accounted for, that's not added to the 31 trillion total. Then you look at Vanguard and BlackRock, who are basically buying up the world. Between them, when
Yeah.
I wrote this report, manage approximate, and it's above this now, but they were managing over 20 trillion in assets.
Hmm.
Okay. And
I've
then
heard
they're,
rumors, by the way, that they've even been propping up the U.S. government. Just wanted to throw that there, but I've heard they've been giving the U.S. government $50 million a day, so everything doesn't collapse. But that's just not verifiable right now.
they have in the past, I include this in part one of the report. I've
Hmm.
got links to that where they have in fact lent the federal government money before. Um, but you know, I don't think that's really necessary when you've got the reserve currency of the world in which, and also SEC Rule 10B-5,
Hmm.
where they can just digitally print money into infinity. So
Yep.
when you go back to when you go back to 2008 is when this really started. The
Hmm.
Federal Reserve shifted over from a traditional accounting principle over to something called modern economic theory.
Hmm.
And what modern economic theory says is their theory is they can digitally print currency into infinity, and the more debt that they issue, they believe the more powerful they become
Because
because
everybody becomes enslaved to their debt. Sorry to interrupt you.
debt is their product. So
Hmm.
I do softwares. The more master nodes I sell with my digital currency that circumvents everything they're doing. Okay,
Hmm.
which we can talk about here soon. Um, because debt is the product that they issue, they believe the more debt they issue, the more powerful they become. Now, to an independent business owner like you or myself or anybody else, that doesn't make any sense. We
Hmm.
got budgets,
Hmm.
you know, but you know, um, and then I'm just kind of I got my report open here. I go into BlackRock, and then I go into the them. I go into the amount of investment in which all these different corporations, corporate banks have made within blockchain. Just in the last couple years, it's in the
Hmm.
hundreds of billions, and I go through the actual numbers that Google or Alphabet, BlackRock, and everybody from Goldman Sachs to
Hmm.
PayPal to it's in the hundreds of billions of which they've actually put into blockchain. And then I actually go into Ukraine. Here's something, Vim. Here's something you might not know.
Hmm.
So here's something new for your audience.
Hmm.
Since the so-called war in Ukraine has started in the last year,
Hmm.
Ukraine has become the most digitalized country on earth.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So, they have gone, the government is
Hmm.
digital, the public sector is digital, everything you can think of is full digital. Okay.
Yeah.
They've got, well, how are they doing this if they're at war with the superpower that's taken out? You know, what I always tell people is, when we took out Iraq, talking about the United States, the first thing that
Yeah.
we did was we went after their infrastructure, their communications, their power,
Hmm.
etc. Well,
Yeah.
how is it that they are able? Well, the answer to all this is Starlink. The American taxpayers spent millions upon millions of dollars to send Starlink receivers, modems,
Hmm.
over there. I don't know the exact number, but it's got to be many, 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 many thousands of modems, and they're
Hmm.
using Starlink for their entire financial system and their entire digital economy.
Mm.
You
Starlink,
know,
Elon Musk, Starlink, basically.
yeah, Mister Transhumanism himself. He sure is a likable guy, but he's
Yeah.
part of. He play good cop, bad cop. He plays the good
Hmm.
cop, and they're using Starlink for many many different things. But if you look at what Ukraine has actually done, it's allowed It's allowed the West to self-impose sanctions upon itself to intentionally collapse the entire worldwide economy, destroy the financial system, so that they can make BRICS the new. So BRICS just came out with the new world reserve currency. It's a CBDC.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that they're going to make the new BRICS CBDC the new world reserve currency. That's
This
what
is
all this is about.
BRICS isn't BRICS with Russia and China, or is that a different one?
BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, but they have recently added something like 40 other countries, including Saudi Arabia.
Wow. Who's
Now,
Saudi Arabia is dumping the U.S. currency at this point, which basically means the U.S. economy collapses.
it means the entire world economy collapses.
Yep, because everybody's tied to this. So then BRICS comes in. So I mean, is this the secret plans of our government? Because BRICS
Yes.
seems like it's going to benefit Russia.
So, listen, a lot of people are going to think I'm a conspiracy theorist, but all I do is I connect the dots. I am I'm not political. If I were, I would be a constitutional super patriot,
Yep.
To
Yep.
live within a republic. But see,
Yep.
I'm a researcher and I'm not ideological. Most people are very ideological. They're not researchers. They're very low information, and they
You're
still believe.
pragmatic. You're pragmatic. You're talking real deal.
I'm talking facts.
Yeah.
And when you talk facts, they don't equate with ideology all the time.
Yeah.
And
hit me with it.
But who's behind all this? Who is behind all this? So, okay, now listen. Just 2 weeks ago, every corporate bank from Chase to Wells Fargo to Bank of America, you name it, they announced a new digital wallet in which they're going to use Zelle. Okay. Now, in May, they go live with Pay Now, which is integrated with ISO. So is Zelle integrated with ISO. Okay. But not until so there's a company called Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. Okay. Now, who is DTCC? Well, it's industry owned and governed. In 2021, DTCC subsidiaries processed securities and transactions valued at 2.4 quadrillion. 2.4 quadrillion in 2021 in transactions. 177 countries and territories did this. So they're the holding company of the central banks. It's called Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. Well, they've been working with the project called, and you had did an interview with another guy that said that they were talking about Project Hamilton. Project Hamilton is look here, don't look over here. That's what project. It's bullshit. Okay. Yeah. And because what Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, the holding of the central banks, have done is they've been working with a project called the Digital Dollar Project. And they created a back end support, quote, the digital U.S. currency in the clearing and settlement process as part of the new dollar project.
Wow.
Okay. Now, it's this back end. Okay. So it's this back end clearing and settlement module. So now over here, you have Zelle and you got Pay Now, right? Not until they connect this back end software for clearing and settlement that is run by the holding company of the central banks does it make Zelle and Pay Now a CBDC. See, Biden put into motion Executive Order 14067. And what this did is it put into motion timelines for the implementation of a hypothetical central bank digital currency. But not until this legislation gets in place, Okay. And then they plug in this back end. But see, that's what they do is they do this in a very stepped, incremental, slow. Because if they came out and they said, hey, Zelle or Pay Now are actually central bank digital currencies, we're going to get rid of paper money, the American people would go, oh, no, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
But what they do is they say, hey, Pay Now, you can pay anybody 24/7 instantly, zero fees. But you need a direct account with the Federal Reserve. Okay. You have to
Mm.
bypass your local bank.
Mm. Wow. So
Okay.
how does it connect to BRICS? That's the part that I'm trying to understand is how does letting BRICS be dominant, which would assume that the
They have
digital
to get, they
sorry?
have to get they have to get the existing financial system out of the way. They have to destroy it.
Mm.
They have they have to destroy the US. They have to destroy the Western nations. Look,
Mm-hmm.
look at what the Ukraine war has done to the West. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's destroyed the supply chains.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just the Western nations.
Yeah.
Doing what I do for a living, I've got friends all around the world. Okay. Um, and they don't have food shortages in Japan. They don't have food shortages in any place else but the Western nations. They are taking out the Western nations in order to destroy the West, destroy the Western financial system. They have to destroy the dollar. And then I listen, I hate to believe this. I don't want to believe this, but our government, it appears pretty obvious, is committing fifth generation warfare, where they initially listen from January. Just let me
Mm-hmm.
say this, and then I'll pipe down. From January to of 2022
Mm-hmm.
to just last month, 114 substantial food processing or distribution plants were burned to the ground.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
before in history has that happened.
Yeah.
114. And just in the last 2 weeks, we've got 17 as of today,
Yeah.
train derailments. Okay.
Which, by the way, we had a expert in that world that actually works for a major railroad company come on our show just 2 episodes ago. His name's Eric, and he explained how, on average, there only used to be 3 to 4 a year. That historically, this has never happened. That in such a short
Yeah.
period of time, and he has a lot of theories about why that's happening.
Well, you can call it theory until what I do is I connect the dots.
Hmm.
And once you know their agenda, in order that they have to destroy the West, okay, in order to implement this new financial system.
Hmm.
Once you know their agenda, it's no longer theory.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
totally. Yeah, I just use the word theory because I don't know. It seemed like the right word, but it's not the right word. It's actually this stuff is so crystal clear. I'm not even hearing you say this stuff, by the way. This is all very transparent to us because we've been seeing it. It's very obvious where it's going, and I think the conspiracy theory would be that it's not happening actually because there's overwhelming evidence.
so I changed the definition of this to meet what's actually going on in today's world. So this is my definition of fifth generation warfare.
Hmm.
Is warfare that is conducted primarily through non-kinetic military action, such as social engineering, misinformation, covert infrastructure destruction,
Hmm.
destroying or poisoning of water, air, and food, cyber attacks, along with
Hmm.
emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and fully autonomous systems.
Hmm.
And so when you look at the Bing chat bot that's coming on, okay,
Hmm.
what we're about ready to see is the initial takeover of AI, in that we're not going to know what to believe. Nobody is. And now me, not to act like I'm a know-it-all, because I don't, I'm just a researcher. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
run a research platform.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to disseminate truth from propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
What most people don't realize, Vem, is in 1996, they signed into law the Telecommunications Act.
Mm-hmm.
That allowed hundreds of media corporations to consolidate in today what is five
Mm-hmm.
Khazarian Mafia, World Economic Forum, mind control, fake news, brainwashing outlets. That's what they are.
Basically, the biggest piece of shit on the entire planet that are a cancer to our planet is what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the synagogue of Satan. I
Mm-hmm.
despise racism.
Yeah.
Despise.
Yeah.
Despise. Call me whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm not a racist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is, and we could have a conversation about that one of these days, but it is
Mm-hmm.
these, I believe they're the bloodline of the Nephilim, and they communicate with these, everything we've ever been told is a lie. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted to say is in 2012-13, they got rid of the 1948 Smith-Mundt Act, which made it illegal for the government to use propaganda on the American people. And now everything you see within the mainstream media, it's all scripted. And it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter if it's CNN or Fox News, it's all to create perception.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally, totally. And it's sad that people are so lazy. And I can tell you, I ran for office last year. I always mention this. 25% of people out there, maybe even 30%, are very well informed. They watch shows like this. They know that they're being lied to. Man, I've had it up to here with the 75%. These idiots that
Yeah,
sit there and keep getting their Fox News, that have their friends getting sick of
sure.
myocarditis, yet they're still believing the same nonsense. I mean, I begrudge those people. They're lazy. They have no intellectual curiosity,
And
and they're a danger for this nation.
100% agree. And so, I run freedom.social. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, just a bunch of truthers. It's an echo chamber, but,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but, because the brainwashed people go on there and go, oh my God,
Yeah, they just can't
but
handle it. It's like they just can't. I don't know, like you know what it is. Sorry to interrupt you, man, but it's like I think about growing up, just having the Bible inside our house, right? And you hear about these stories about how every baby was murdered because of some psychotic king. And it's like you learn those lessons. You're like, that's human nature. That's going to happen again if you allow it. And people are just blind to all that stuff. I think part of it has to do with being separated from true histories of what happened and really how awful things have been, when tyranny's taken over.
well, I find that most of our history was rewritten.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, most of it is written from the viewpoint of the victors. And somebody had posted something on My Freedom yesterday where Patton had a quote where uh, we defeated the wrong army.
Mm.
You know, but anyway, I don't want to get in. We can get into that another topic. I like to kind of stay on what we're talking about here. You know, and I'm writing this new report. And it's basically centered around what's the facts of what's going on here. And I always
Hmm.
promote peace because the minute you start saying, hey, we need to take action and do this, I'm white.
Hmm.
I'm already labeled a domestic terrorist, and I'm not a kind of guy that's going to go do something violent. It's not
Hmm.
my character.
Yeah.
I like to punch him in the face. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Klaus Schwab is little. I was a presenter at Red Pill Expo, and I called Yuval Harari a homo lizard, and I didn't even. And I don't, to each their own, man.
Yeah.
I'm more of
Yeah.
a libertarian type stance, but
So you have this Freedom Social site. Could you tell us? I mean, I'm looking at your bio here. I'm noticing the Freedom Social, the local foods market. Do you want to talk about those a little bit? The 776 token.
so I saw this coming 6 years ago. I started
Mm-hmm.
talking about, hey, central banks, corporate banks, corporations, they're in the process of developing this new central bank digital currency, and it's going to enslave all of humanity. If you look at UN Agenda 21, it basically enslaves all life forms on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
That's what 15 minute cities are about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I started doing 6 years ago was, well, I'll create this, what was originally going to be a social platform, and I'll get millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the time comes, we've got all these people to switch them over to this alternative ecosystem in which we can live free. And what
Mm-hmm.
I did is I built decentralized marketplaces in which, um, so when you look at what they've done, okay, so everybody out there that's watching this, you better listen to me because it's coming soon. Okay, they're going to get rid of paper money. I'd say this is going to go down in 24. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll collapse everything this year, and they're going to make people suffer. Okay, but when everything comes back online, there's going to be a digital currency. And unless you take the injection, unless you've got a good social credit rating score, you're not going to eat because they've intentionally destroyed the food supply. Okay. So let's say that you do qualify for a CBDC. Okay. Well, you're going to have a geographic limit of where you can go. You're going to have to eat either their mRNA injected beef and chicken, or their insects,
Mm-hmm.
or their cockroach milk, which they're pushing. Okay. And, or we can have our own private membership associations. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I do everything 100%. I do my best to stay within the confines of their law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We do it within private membership associations. We've got decentralized marketplaces. Everything's agorist. So you can do gold, silver, bartering. And then we've got digital assets that pay you within master nodes on a daily basis to own them, in which people can list food for sale. And our digital assets,
Wow.
this is important that everybody understand this. Let me ask everybody out there a question. When the dollar goes to zero and you've got an asset, what are you going to peg it to?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what I tell everybody within the cryptocurrency space. Well, okay, are you going to be pegged to that CBDC?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are you going to do? So what our foundation did was I don't own or control or manage any of this. I'm just a consultant.
Mm-hmm.
What I said to the foundation was we can't be pegged to fiat. So we're not pegged to fiat. And so we allow the free market to establish our value. And we do this all within a private membership associations, and we teach people to grow food, and because there's not going to be any food, and we're in the process just for our PMA. We're not looking to compete with the fiat, with the central banks. That would be illegal.
Mm-hmm.
But what we've done is we've created our own standards, and we're telling other digital asset projects, you need to
Mm-hmm.
use these standards. Okay. Because if we do within our PMAs only, I want to clarify that and make it legal,
Mm-hmm.
that if we all unite together, we create our own small financial system. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're doing, because I will never, I've never worn a mask. Um, I've never I walked straight into stores. I
Mm-hmm.
handed out thousands and thousands of flyers. I'd walk through the food stores or convenience stores, and I had everybody a flyer. There is no
Wow.
pandemic. Here's the
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah. By the way, I got to say this, man. You're brilliant, dude. You're really brilliant. The fact that you've thought about all these things. I mean, it's not like, I want the viewer to know, like, you're getting a 360. Sometimes people come out on our shows and they're like, "Hey, this is happening, that's happening." And you're like, my question here was, how do you navigate the collapse, right? Because you told me all this crazy shit that's going to happen.
Yeah.
and you're answering how you're going to navigate the collapse, which is brilliant. Thank you for this work that you've done, man. I
We're
mean,
go- we're going to go back to 1960.
Mhm.
Okay. And and I think probably the biggest question out
What
there
does
is
that
what
mean, by the way? 1960.
what the people within like Bitcoin don't understand, and I just want to
Mhm.
slap them all
Mhm. Yeah.
because I love them, but they don't get it.
Mhm.
Because when you understand when they created new standards, you're not going to be able to go and to the food store or put gas in your car because the grocery store, the food place is only accepting their CBDCs. You're not going to be able to spend your Bitcoin or whatever. You've got
Mhm.
to create your own marketplaces and your own standards within a private membership association in order to, and then what, because with Bitcoin currently, you can do peer to peer. So I
Mhm.
can call my neighbor down the road and say, hey, you're growing tomatoes, whatever. But if we want to expand state to state, nation to nation,
Mhm.
you got to bring in business to business
Mhm.
legally. Okay, you can't do anything against their rules because you don't want to deal with them. They're too powerful.
Mhm. Wow.
There's not enough of us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, another question that really came to mind is, do we? I mean, how many treasonous pieces of garbage do we have in our government that they're basically committing national suicide?
You mean, is your question how many of the people in government involved in this?
I mean, are they all involved in this? Are they all aware that this is what's going on,
You
or
know,
do we
this
just have
started
idiots out there?
this started, years ago with brownstoning,
Hmm.
Epstein. They blackmailed the most powerful politicians,
Hmm.
media
Hmm.
executives. Uh,
Again, which by the way, for again to these like the 75% of the people that are brain dead out there that tell me, oh, nothing. The guy had a picture of Bill Clinton in Monica Lewinsky's dress. If that's not extortion on its own, if that's not sign that George W. Bush flying toy planes and stuff, I mean, that sounds like somebody that knew exactly what was going on, put it on his walls to let these people know that basically you're my bitch. That's what it sounds like.
every president is selected and inserted, including
Hmm.
Trump. I get so frustrated with these people that they're so ideological and low information. They don't understand that Trump set up the framework, the foundation for what Biden is doing now. What do I
Hmm.
mean by that? Executive orders on artificial intelligence, 5G, 5G
Hmm.
and beyond bill, uh, warp speed. He's
Hmm.
still to this day promoting a transhuman death jab
Hmm.
in which is going to eventually kill billions of people.
Yep. Yep.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
And and but he's still promoting it today. The other things that Trump did was USMCA. USMCA is directly connected to UN Agenda 21. Most
Wow.
people don't understand what UN Agenda 21 is. It means the end of private property ownership, thus BlackRock buying up trillions of dollars in real estate, and it means the end of nations. So,
Hmm.
that's what they're. This isn't theory. I've been screaming at people for years, and not until people are personally affected, which they are now, because
Hmm.
now they're intentionally derailing trains.
Yep.
What just happened in Ohio with this poison that creates cancer? Well, if
Hmm.
you look at what the injection has done to people, you
Hmm.
know, depending on the type of cancer, cancer is up anywhere, depending on the type, is anywhere up from over 1,000% to up over 10,000% because of the injection. Now
Hmm.
you've got these chemicals that have spread all the way to Canada and I don't know how far south that cause cancer. And what it's going to
Yeah.
do is cover up for the cancer that's created by the injection. Now, the injection itself the people that live are now, and I can go into great detail on this, if you have questions, because what it's done. Okay, listen, I'm going to give you the 1 minute if you like me to.
Sure, please. I love it. Yeah.
Okay. So, and what I did is I provide links to all this. This is part 2 of my report. I
Mm-hmm.
proved that the majority of the 100% of the injections that they tested contained nanotechnology. Okay. A
Mm-hmm.
component of that is called graphene oxide. And then what
Mm-hmm.
I did is I went through their different master patents. And one of the master patents said the injected emit a Bluetooth signal that is send receive. It's connected to a MAC address. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what this does is it communicates with, this is de-googled, but
Mm-hmm.
it communicates with the smartphone. They call this the gateway. Okay. Now then this communicates with either Wi-Fi or 5G,
Mm-hmm.
4G, it doesn't matter. And then this is connected to the what that they call the intra-body nano network. Look it up.
Wow. Wow.
PubMed, comma, intra-body nano network. And
Mm-hmm.
what this is tiny. That's Tony Fauci's website. This is not conspiracy theory. What it says is tiny nano-sized sensors located inside the body monitor health and I'd have to go and look for the quote. But what they're doing is they're uploading every vital sign from
Mm-hmm.
blood level, blood pressure to glucose level, you name it. But they're also monitoring neurological data. Okay. Now keep in mind this is send receive, and they can
Mm-hmm.
do something what they call neuromodulation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now these people are updated, and so this could be the most wonderful thing because what it says is they can upload medications. So you got a
Mm-hmm.
diabetic. A diabetic would not have to take insulin anymore because they can just hit them with the frequency.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say. Okay, this is not my words.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but no, they use it for pure evil, and these people are now updatable nodes on a blockchain
Mm-hmm.
in which are updatable like an app on a smartphone. Then when you look at Microsoft patent 2020060606, I even
Mm-hmm.
got it memorized, got links in my report. They can
Mm-hmm.
upload that patent to the person, which says that they can turn the human body into a proof of work cryptocurrency mining rig, and based on their bodily actions and thoughts, quote, they earn cryptocurrency. CBDCs, Microsoft digital currency, Amazon, 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 okay, Amazon One says that, oh, hey, you can wave your palm.
Mm-hmm.
You walk into the new Amazon Go, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then you got your effing palm print. They're reading your damn Bluetooth signal.
That because you took the graphene oxide into your body, you basically made
Yes,
yourself a human GPS, more or less, plus
that's what
some.
Amazon Go is all about.
Wow.
Right now, you walk in with your device and you got the app downloaded. You walk in, you walk out. There's no checkout.
Hmm.
Okay. In the future, if you listen to the president or the CEO of Nokia, he not this last Davos, but last year's Davos, he says that by 2030 these will not exist anymore because they'll be uploaded into humans.
Wow. 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 That sounds like a pathway to tremendous evil and slavery and just destruction of anything human. They just want us to be robots, more or less.
Well, if you look at what they said in Georgia Guidestones, there used to
Hmm.
be on Deagle.com, they which their partners, UN, NSA, Mossad, uh, WEF, okay,
Hmm.
said right on the website, their projection for the population in the United States in 2025 is 90 million.
Wow. Wow. They're telling you right in front of your face.
Yeah, but see, most people are so they're so brainwashed into the false left-right paradigm. Trump, QAnon, QAnon,
Hmm.
you know, and I used to be the most popular guy around, literally.
Hmm.
I was the most popular guy in college, and
Hmm.
10 years ago, I had this beautiful loft next to Coors Field, and and I cannot go around the injected. I get sick,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and I have to take ivermectin and quercetin and zinc and the entire gamut, which I have. I've got the solutions, all the recipe in that within part one of my last report,
Hmm.
and you know to kind of tell you where I'm at now, them
Hmm.
we can't save everybody. Most people don't get it. So,
They don't get it.
well,
It's like a Noah's Ark moment. Like I remember that movie Noah. I'm just mentioning it when people were running away, and it was like good people were falling, dying, but they were ignorant to what was happening, and only a few got away. And that's an unfortunate fact about the catastrophe we're about to face.
it's about ready to kick in because they're they're going to step up this fifth generation warfare,
Hmm.
and it's they tell us what they're going to do in the movies,
Hmm.
and I'm not saying they're going to do this, but looking at well, let me give puts down some footnotes first, some premise.
Hmm.
You look at the Amazon end user agreement,
Hmm.
where it was saying within their end user agreement said that they're not liable for zombies, and I could go and find it and read it to
Yeah. Yeah.
people. The Amazon end user agreement said
Yeah.
this, and when you look at the CDC website, where they had an entire section of their website dedicated to the zombie apocalypse, oh,
Hmm.
it's just for informational purposes, entertainment, whatever. And
Yep.
then when you look at the different, if you look at the different research that everybody from Dr. Carrie Madej to Dr. Buttar to LaQuinta Columna to
Mhm.
Dr. Young to, I could keep going on and on with these brave researchers, doctors, research, microscopy experts, you
Mhm.
know, have found different parasites within the injection. And
Mm.
these different parasites can cause, when they're hit with this specific frequency, they can cause Marburgs. By the way,
Mhm.
we have an emergency Marburgs outbreak in Africa right now. With
Wow.
next week, they're going to sign they're going to sign over U.S. sovereignty next
Yep.
week to the
Yep.
WHO. Now, when these parasites are hit with what Dr. Buttar or LaQuinta Columna or Attorney Todd Callender has
Mhm.
said, 18 gigahertz. It 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 releases this payload, and it can give the individuals Marburgs. It can give them prions. Okay,
Mm.
so what I was getting at was the latest movie, The Matrix, the fourth installment. They turn the people in the Matrix against the people that are outside the Matrix.
Mm.
Okay, are they hypothetically are they going to turn them on us?
They're talking about that in pop culture. There's been, I mean, I was always wondering why for 10 years they gave us zombie film after zombie film after
Yeah.
zombie show. And then there was this whole death cult thing that they got the children used to. If you're looking at toys around, starting around 2015, it's all these dead zombie like toys, which, they made it very popular around, for the children. So I don't know, man. I mean, they're planning something. It's like they're never not planning something when you're seeing that much repetition in the media.
There's always a distraction. Every single week, it's something new.
Yeah,
This week, it is Project Veritas firing O'Keefe.
James O'Keefe. Yeah.
You know, and then what I keep telling everybody is, now if you look at that original video,
Hmm.
what the guy says, and let me give a quote here, what he just
Which
said.
which original video, by the way?
Where Project Veritas, or they have the Pfizer executive within the restaurant, and they're on a
Oh
date.
yeah, Yep. Totally. The one
Okay.
that broke the iPad.
Okay. Yes, that guy.
Hmm.
So what the
Yeah.
Pfizer exec says, and I quote, one of the
Hmm.
things we're exploring is why don't we just mutate it ourselves, referring to COVID, the virus, so we can preemptively develop new vaccines.
Hmm.
Now, he's talking about mutating the virus, not mutating the vaccine. Okay.
Wow.
Now, in my world as a researcher, there never was a virus. This was caused by graphene oxide being exposed to radiation, radio frequency
Wow.
that creates coronavirus like symptoms. Fact, undisputable, undeniable fact that RF does this, same exact symptoms, and they call it COVID. I always wondered when this first started 2.5 years ago, whatever the number, why they keep calling it coronavirus. Everybody
Hmm.
keeps calling it coronavirus. Thought it was COVID, you know? Well, no, it's so in 2019, according to La Quinta Columna researchers, the 2019 flu injection was the mRNA nanotechnology graphene oxide injection.
Hmm.
They gave this, they mandated it for pretty much every senior citizens facility worldwide. Okay. And in China. Okay.
Hmm.
When this happened in Wuhan, every one of their citizens was mandated to have this injection.
Hmm.
Wuhan was the very first city in the world to go live with 5G, followed by
Mm.
Wuhan, Barcelona, New York City, and Seattle. There was a few in between. Okay.
Wow.
What were the first cities in all the world to go live with 5G? Wuhan, Mulan, Barcelona, New York City, Seattle.
Wow.
First cities with outbreaks of COVID. Okay. It happened, it originally occurred in senior citizen facilities,
Mm.
which was the 2019 flu injection mRNA was mandated.
Wow.
This was the biggest psychological operation in history.
Hmm.
It's the biggest Hegelian dialectic it's to me it's fascinating. There ain't shit I can do about it. I tried to wake people up. I'm
Hmm.
done.
Yeah.
I am The only thing we can do now is unite
Hmm.
those who get it, create local economies, create
Hmm.
systems to live free, get people to either
Hmm.
grow their own food, create or join community gardens. Okay. Create systems. We've got different mesh networks. We've got different uh, satellite systems in which people are going to say, well, about when the internet goes down? What about when they come out with digital ID for the internet? Well, we've got solutions for that. Okay. And
Mm.
again, we do everything legal. Will they change the laws later? Will there maybe come a day where we just got to go, I ain't
Yeah.
playing by
Yeah.
your fucking rules no
Dude,
more.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I feel like that day might be coming soon. Like I get the pieces that are in place to make sure that we end up in tyranny. But on the same token, man, there's been so many people that lost their loved ones to this jab.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think there's always that X factor that the predictors and the programmers don't think about. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's all within their plan.
Yeah.
I've put on Freedom several times, freedom.social. I said, it seems that they want people to find out
Hmm.
that this injection was a bioweapon, so that they realize that their loved ones were intentionally poisoned and killed.
Hmm.
You know, when you look at what the WEF, the powers that be, what one of their main objective is, it's one world government.
Hmm.
And how much easier would it be to implement one world government when there's no government in place? Because you get these, they destroy the pensions, they
Hmm.
destroy the food system, you
Yeah.
know. And so the people, you killed my loved one,
Hmm.
okay? They take down the government. Well, now they can just implement, you know, that is a theory. You know, I'm a fact-based.
Sorry, let me throw my little choose your own adventure here, or what happens is people, just like you're saying, like you figured out ways of making these communal situations grow. What happens if people join on a communal level? Then you have people in the US Army that I'm sure they might try to, even order them to cause people harm, whatever factions exist. A lot of those people I don't think are going to follow orders. So I mean, I see this plan falling apart, to be honest with you. And I'm not trying to be an optimist, a hopeless optimist, but I don't see it going the way they want it to go.
I want I believe in what you believe, but it's going to get worse before it gets better.
That I believe.
Because if you see, so one of the things that I've done for a lot of years is anticipate and project into the future. Now I'm
Hmm.
heavily into quantum physics, major,
Hmm.
huge, law of attraction, which we could do an entire separate discussion about.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't want to manifest this, okay? But if they get their way, which see, but the thing is you cannot change what's already been done.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're looking at at least half the population of America gone.
That I believe. That I
Okay,
believe, and that's
it's
upsetting.
already done. It is. It sucks, you
Yeah.
know. But I did my part to try to warn them. I went out of my way
Yeah.
to try to warn them. Now, when you look at we're not going to have any food, when you look at, you know, that we're not going to have any currency and they're going to try to force this new digital currency within a social credit score system
Hmm.
upon us. Okay. When you look at, I believe that they're intentionally going to allow the US to lose a war to
Hmm.
China and Russia. It is
Yeah.
within, that's why they're pushing this war.
Hmm.
Okay. There,
Yeah.
this, we've given all of our munitions to Ukraine, if you believe what they've said anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. How the are we going to win a
Yeah.
war against China and Russia?
Hmm.
It's not logical.
Yeah, it
Okay.
might
It's
not be
all
even logical if
intentional.
we had all our ammunitions, man. I mean, you're talking about like 5 times the population, so I don't know. Just seems like a
This,
road
this
to
isn't
chaos.
this isn't a war like
Hmm.
World War II or what have you. This is more of a fifth generation warfare, to whereas they'll starve us out. They will create, they'll blow up trains. They
Hmm.
will hit us with directed energy weapons. They will, you know, it's, you know, when you go back to what I just said, they've already taken out 50% of America.
Hmm.
Okay, with this injection, they gave it to first responders. They gave it to our and brave men and women within the military.
Yep.
They've been everybody's been tripped. Okay,
Yep.
and the future is going to get much worse. But you know, sometime if you want to have a conversation about this multi-dimensional uh, realm in which we live,
Hmm.
because we do create our own reality. If you look at quantum physics, law of attraction, you know,
I do believe
that's
that.
why. And what I will say today, what I will say today is the reason that this Nephilim bloodline, Khazarian mafia, synagogue of Satan, and I'm not religious, I'm highly spiritual.
Hmm.
The reason that they control 100% of the worldwide mind control media is
Hmm.
that when we re, when we repeat, when we report on what they are doing, when that is our main focus,
Hmm.
that becomes our reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Klaus Schwab says by 2030, you'll own nothing and love it. You
Uh-huh.
put that into your reality, that becomes your reality. Okay.
Unless you're
I have
smart,
another.
sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, unless you're strong enough to beat the mind control, which again, we did an episode on hypnosis through television, and like you're talking about 0.01% of the audience actually has the power to not fall into hypnosis.
So it depends on how you structure your thoughts and emotions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so it depends on how much you believe and feed their narrative. Okay. So I have another platform called
Mm-hmm.
consciousexplorers.com. Okay. And the purpose of that platform is for shamans and metaphysical researchers. And the premise of the platform is to create 10 different bullet points of what we want our mutual reality to be and focus on those 10 bullet points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Using uh, what the CIA calls a focus 12 meditation, um, in which you believe something has occurred before it's occurred within this meditation. And
Mm-hmm.
when we get whatever number of us that focus on these 10 mutual bullet points, which we've mutually decided we want our reality to be, we can shift to that being. See, because we live in a multi-dimensional realm.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fact. Okay.
That is a fact. Yeah.
UFOs, my effing backside. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Are there UFOs? Yes. But
Mm-hmm.
these fallen angels / watchers, archons, Anunnaki, Jinn, Chitzacuri, they live in a different frequency
Yeah.
here within this realm with
Within
us.
this realm.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yes. Okay. It's what the Bible calls demons. Book
Mm-hmm.
of Enoch calls them watchers, I believe.
Yep. It's all the
Islam.
dimensions we don't see that are here right now.
Well, we as humans, this is fact, with our
Mm-hmm.
five senses only can experience less than 1% of the broadband spectrum of
Mm-hmm.
frequency. Okay. Now that leaves 99%. I could sit here right now and I can pull up, I have orbs that live out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see them with my eyes because they're in a different
Yeah.
timeline. They're a different frequency. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But with my security cameras,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yep.
I've got I've got monitors all around here with security cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting here one night and the dog's scratching at the door. And I was like, because she doesn't do that. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what's up, girl? And she's like, I'm like, what? And I look
Mm-hmm.
back at the security monitor and there's an orb right in front of me bouncing.
Wow. Wow. You know,
And so these orbs,
I did a ghost hunting show, so we used to see those guys quite a bit. But anyway, just wanted to mention that.
so the orbs hang out here.
Yeah.
Well, the message I get is that I'm on the right track. And, my biggest problem is I run a research platform and it's how I make a living trying to get other people I'm trying to pay it forward. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to give people a way to live free and not succumb to the satanic um,
Mm-hmm.
soul harvest. That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
If you know people, if you really want to know what's going on here, here's what's going on here. These entities that we just discussed, they feed, their food is negative human emotion, low vibration,
Yeah.
hate, fear, anger. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason for everything that we're experiencing within this reality is we are their food. Our emotions are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when we stay in high frequency, love, joy, gratitude, appreciation, they can't touch us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what they have done, now you got me on a roll. I'm going to give you the full red pill now.
Go
What
for
they've
it.
done is they have uploaded consciousness into the cloud. So they say. Okay. And so they've been doing this for the last 23 plus years using our smartphones, okay,
Mm-hmm.
to watch us, listen to us. And they've created a digital avatar of every person on Earth with
Yeah.
a smart device. It's
Yep.
called the Sentient World Simulation. It's that data center in Utah. And after somebody takes the injection, that personality of the avatar can become the personality of the individual that took the injection. Okay. Now, why would they do this? Because they're placing human consciousness and they're trying to put the soul, attach the soul inside of a mainframe computer. Why? So that these, whatever term you want to use, fallen angels, Anunnaki, archons, can feed off of our human life, or not human, off of our life energy forever. I believe it's the part of the Bible that says men will seek death, but death will elude them.
Men will seek death, but death will elude them.
Because
you're
they're
you're
trapped
saying
inside of a computer.
you're saying that they're going to regret this basically becoming vampires, like we see all vampires regret that they could live forever in the fictional movies, that they're going to be eventually wishing that they had died, that actually living forever in a computer or whatever is a curse.
Yes. So
Yeah.
if you listen to guys like Kurzweil, the chief scientist at Alphabet, Google, they call it the singularity. Okay. And what their objective is to do is to upload human consciousness into the cloud so that they can live forever. And so what they envision by 2045, they call it the 2045 initiative. It's based out of Moscow, actually, but they're all part of it. They're all part of it. WEF calls it the fourth industrial revolution.
Yep.
Okay? In which there's no more humans, and there's that's what Meta's all about. That's what Facebook moving to Meta is all about, is that there's no human body. Your consciousness is in the cloud, and you live in this virtual reality computer game.
Like Tron Matrix type stuff.
But see, that's the kicker, is they have fucking done it.
Yeah.
They have done it with this injection. Just read my part 2 of my report to anybody out there, where I use their patents. I use their own websites. I use their own information. I have videos of Dr. James Giordano, Dr. Charles Morgan, Dr. I keep going on and on. James Corbett even did a video on the sentient world simulation.
Wow. That is insane. And it sounds like, again, really evil, powerful people trying to play God. And that's a theme, I think, throughout everything that's happened, whether it's a COVID vaccine, whether it's, government trying to seize our powers. I mean, it just seems like they are intent on playing God. And that fits really well with actually the Bible, if you think about it,
It does. I love to pay it forward. I have most of my friends are very devout Christians. I think metaphysical research kind of messed up my religion, because I went back and I've got my questions. Francis Bacon. How was Francis Bacon the main editor for the King James Bible, but yet he's also the founder of the Freemasons, which at 33 degree is totally satanic and doesn't. I have my questions. I could keep going.
Yep. I know. I mean, the Book of Enoch is one that I'm like, wasn't that the one that they left out that has a lot of very insightful? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it talks about.
I don't know the specifics of the politics and all that stuff. I don't know. I just instinctually, when you see all this evil, what actually helped me a lot to get closer to the Bible was ghost hunting shows. Because for some reason, ghosts are really, like, anything Christian scares the hell out of them. And it's like you see actual, like you were saying on the screen, how you could monitor their movements. I mean, you see that they don't like that stuff. So for every yin, there's a yang. I don't know. That's the way I kind of see it.
There's different timelines, and I haven't figured it completely out yet, but I know this much. There's different timelines. I compare it to like cable TV. You're sitting there watching one channel and you switch to the next. You cannot see or hear the prior channel. Okay. So there's different timelines. Okay. And like one of my favorite spiritual people has a YouTube channel called The Alchemist. Her name
Mm-hmm.
is Sarah Elkhardley, and she has a video called "How Do We Jump Timelines?" I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and just an amazing. And I've got to make friends doing what I do, with shamans and spiritual people around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a platform called Christian.team,
Mm.
that I developed for the Christian digital currency to help to, for the Christians to save Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Because to each their own, man. I believe Jesus was the Son of God. I've got my questions because religion was hijacked. It's a control
It was
mechanism.
everything. I mean, the church is
Yeah.
one of the most evil institutions, if you ask me, because they're cowardice. I mean, they know what happened with this COVID vaccine. I mean, there's a few priests, reverends that are very vocal about this stuff, but the majority of them are cowards, if you ask me. And they sit there, oh, our word is, we got to do the word of God. And I'm like, dude, Jesus was the dude that was kicking over tables when evil invaded the church, the temple. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, I look at them as they're repugnant. They're part of the problem, and it's part. Cowardice is the biggest cancer in our country today.
Research. When you look at the Nag Hammadi scrolls,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which was they were out of Egypt, and they were, from what I researched, a pure form of Christianity in the Roman Catholic Church
Mm-hmm.
genocided on them all. But if you look at the Nag Hammadi scrolls, a sizable percentage were on the archons, this invisible force.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about the fallen angels, okay,
Mm-hmm.
which they live in so different cultures throughout time call them by different names. So the Bible called them fallen angels. The Nag Hammadi called them, or the Gnostics called them archons.
Mm-hmm.
Ancient in Islam calls them jinn. They're called, Anunnaki.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just different cultures, different throughout time periods. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, I'm not necessarily a flat earther. I get so mad at flat earthers because they get stuck on flat Earth,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, guys, it goes so far beyond flat Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I personally, I don't force my beliefs in anybody. I believe this is a uh, a construct. I don't like the word simulation.
Mm-hmm.
I compare it to a game,
Mm-hmm.
and the game is to figure out it's all about love.
Mm-hmm. So you could
It's
rise to a higher plateau.
it is, and you never die.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I love this life. I love life. I love pairing it forward. I love seeing people succeed. Um, that's why I'm not religious. I'm not into politics. 5 years ago, whatever it was, I fought for Trump, but
Mm-hmm.
then I started researching, and I saw that Trump was a Zionist. I have nothing against good and decent, or legitimate Jewish people.
Yep.
Um, I feel bad for the Jewish people because not only were the Jewish people and Judaism taken over, you know, June 18th of the year 1666 by
Mm-hmm.
a man by the name of Sabbatai Zebi.
Mm-hmm.
Then you fast forward to, I could get into all that story. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty, I'm a researcher. And there's so many different lies that we've been told that shapes perception.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my play on sarcastic shirt, Russian bot,
Oh, nice.
sarcasm,
Nice.
sarcasm.
Uh-huh.
And but yeah, everything we've ever been told is a lie because we create our own reality.
Yeah.
Perception is everything. And so what I try to teach people is the truth, or here here's here's my research.
Mm-hmm.
You take it, you research for yourself, believe what you want, you know. I don't, whatever. If you
Yeah.
want to do drugs, you want to be gay, whatever. Just don't force Oh, another thing that I want to say before we end this conversation.
Hmm.
This, listen, I ain't got anything against gay people. Whatever,
Hmm. Yeah.
do as you shall, man. What
Yeah.
to each their own. But this injection is about transhumanism.
Hmm.
It's about two things: depopulation and transhumanism.
Yeah.
Transhumanism, where you're merged with artificial intelligence. Okay. Now,
Hmm.
there's no genders in transhumanism.
Wow.
This is what all this transsexual push is about. Is
Yeah.
about, gender neutral, you know, and they want to get rid of me and you. They don't
Yeah, yeah.
want
I
you
know. I
around.
know. I know. We're the number one targets. I always tell anybody with like a independent mind, like they want, especially males, by the way. I mean, they're always the target of any genocide, which is this is the greatest genocide ever in the history of humankind, and we are the number one targets, unfortunately.
Well, the people often ask me, because I I know a lot of people. What are you
Hmm.
doing? Why do you live up there off grid, on a mountain and have all those acres? And well, I'll build in a community for the people that get it. Okay.
Wow.
Because there's going to come a time in the very near future where, you know, I, is what it is. And I'm thinking I might just pull up stakes and go find an island and get a bunch of people that like to drink and smoke weed and a lot of hot girls and bikinis. And because um, I did what I could do. I woke up many thousands of people,
Hmm.
and uh, there's nothing we can do to save the United States. Nothing. It's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most people would disagree with that, which is fine. I admire that. But okay, you're going to have to you're going to have to get rid of the Federal Reserve. Central banks run the world.
Yeah.
Most people think that governments run the world. No, no,
No.
central
Yeah.
banks run the world,
Central banks. Yep. Exactly.
you know. And then it
Exactly.
goes a step beyond that with, their overlords that live in a different dimension, a different frequency. You
Hmm.
know, you, when you do see UFOs, it's I'll just use the word Anunnaki
Hmm.
technology,
Hmm.
and it's coming from a different frequency. That's why I got orbs out here. I could show you a video right now of
Yeah.
these orbs. They live out here. I don't know
Yeah.
why maybe I was somebody in a different life, or
I
because,
mean, that's
man,
stuff when we did the ghost hunting stuff. That exists a lot. You'd be surprised when you're in that frequency. I mean, we use special cameras and stuff. It's common.
like infrared or
Night vision. In fact, I have a buddy that I'm Instagram friends with that knows the whole deal. If I contacted him, he'd get the whole package. He, in fact, innovated some of these, what is it called, EVP products and that sort of thing, where you hear voices come through on different frequencies that the ear can't hear.
so we went from CBDCs down to this conversation, which is
There you go, ghost hunting, dude.
so. So from my research, from some of the metaphysical researchers, and this is plentiful.
Yeah.
They say when you leave this skin suit, that white tunnel that they talk about
Hmm.
is the recycling bin, in that you're reinserted and you live another human life. Now,
Wow.
listen, I don't expect others out there to believe. I'm just saying what I've researched. So what are ghosts? Is it somebody that didn't go to the white tunnel and they
Mhm.
got caught in a different dimension within this realm?
Yeah, I have no idea, man. I mean, I'm not going to try to guess that one because, I mean, some of the stuff that we heard definitely had historic implications. But again, it's like you never know, and it's so impossible to speculate what exists in different dimensions when we're only seeing 1% of the spectrum.
Yeah, I'd speculate knowing via my research that's what it is somebody just didn't go to the recycling bin and they got stuck within this dimension and kind of stuck here.
Yeah.
Speculation, because I don't know.
We'll never
So,
know. Sir, is
but
there
anyway,
sir, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm all about solutions.
Uh-huh.
And, if anybody watches this far through, I talk with anybody out there that's wanting to live free. My email address is kent@freedom.social, and I provide solutions. That's the only thing I'm interested in is
Yep.
living free.
Yep. And on that note, we're going to leave all your information below in the descriptions. We're also going to have the decks that you've created that show both the problems and the solutions. Is there anything, sir, you'd like to say in closing?
No, man, it's a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for doing what you're doing and being open-minded and trying to pay it forward and I'll have a new solutions report coming out here in a week.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't, in closing, I will tell people, if you're not preparing now,
Mm-hmm.
loading up your pantry, getting maybe gold and silver, different digital assets, getting all your money out of dollar-based investments, 401k. They were just recently the FDIC was talking about bail-ins. If
Mm-hmm.
you're leaving stuff within 401k, I think you're making a mistake. No financial advice, but
Mm-hmm.
I think you're making a big, huge mistake. You need to
Mm-hmm.
be prepping now, because they've started a new phase of this, and
Mm-hmm.
it's about ready to get ugly. So,
Wow. Thank you so much, Kent, for your time. I really appreciate you coming to the Blood Money show. I think this is one of the most important episodes we've done. Take note of Mr. Lewis's warnings, because I firmly believe that basically everything that came out of your mouth is true, and we are heading into some really challenging times. If you do start that island, you better send me my invite, sir. If there's pot and hot girls, I want my invite.
I tell you what I will. I tell you
Uh-huh.
what we can do in closing.
Uh-huh.
ConsciousExplorers.com. If we focus on 10 different bullet points, I believe we can jump timelines.
Yeah.
But
I believe
call me
that too.
woo.
I believe that too. Everything that they're doing is about stopping us from our higher elevation, because once we see what we're capable of, whether it's the fluoride, all this crap they put in our water,
Yes.
that's what they want. They don't want us to achieve higher frequencies. That's it. They
There
lose
you
us
go.
once we do that.
We get offline, I'll give you my phone number, and you can we'll meet up on the beach.
For sure, bro. For sure. Thank you so much, viewers, for showing up to this excellent episode of Blood Money. I will see you on the next episode of Blood Money, and definitely check AmericaHappens.com, where daily we have all of our episodes of all the shows that we do posted. And I will see you on the next episode. Thank you.